Alright guys, we did it. Our song got 1 million views. Sheena shouted out triumphantly to her fellow bandmates, who were all gathered in front of her in the band's club room. Heck yes. Ko celebrated, the robotic text-to-speech contrasting with her literal jumping for joy. Alright, we did it. Nis cheered, giving Fuku a high five. That's great, Fuku said, forcing enthusiasm. Honestly, she knew darn well that the reason they got that many views wasn't because of their talent, but rather because they were Midoriyas. And Midoriyas doing anything nowadays garnered a lot of attention. Sure, people were leaving nice comments, but that was because they were kids. Hence why she wasn't jumping for joy. She knew the other girls knew that as well, but they were actively ignoring it for the sake of enjoying their achievement, which is why she would do her best to ignore it as well. So, what should we do to celebrate? Mr. Midoriya says we can do whatever we want. Within reason. Sheena explained. Let's go out. Ko immediately typed. Let's not. Fuku argued just as fast. Come on, Fuku. It won't be so bad. We can go out somewhere with fewer people. Like an ice cream place. Sheena suggested. Oh, I love ice cream. Nis added. I like this plan. But we can have ice cream here. Fuku argued. Yeah, but it won't feel like it's special. Sheena countered. Didn't you say you were going to try and go outside more? Ko brought up. Fuku gulped as she quickly realized the tide of the conversation had turned against her. You don't have to go if you don't want to, Nis assured her. But, I'd really like it if you were there. Jeez. Thinini. Fuku groaned as she saw the puppy dog looks the other girls were giving her. I'll go. Yeah. The other girls cheered. You guys want to go out for ice cream? Izuka asked as Sheena stood in front of his desk. Sheena confirmed. And you can't just stay at home and eat ice cream? Izuku asked. You sound like Fuku. Sheena pouted. We just want to go outside and celebrate. Something different. Well, I guess it should be fine. Just as long as you take Sori, Sai, and Tokoshi with you. Izuka said, and a platoon of soldiers. Thank you. Love you, Dad. Sheena said as she quickly went over to give Izuku a hug. She's finally calling me Dad now. Man, that makeup sure did give her a confidence boost. Izuka thought as he hugged her back. Sheena shivered in delight as she licked up her ice cream. Using the portals, they made it to the small ice cream place rather quickly. Naturally, the patrons and employees were a bit shocked when Midoriyas and their bodyguards showed up, but the girls were doing their best to ignore the stares they were getting and just enjoy their time there. So good. Fuku sighed happily as she ate up her 2 ice cream cones. Sugar was one of the things that always worked wonders for calming down her anxiety. I'm glad you girls are enjoying yourselves, Tokoshi said as he stood beside them, with Sai and Sori sitting at a table next to them. Nis sat quietly, happily eating up both the ice cream and the atmosphere. Sure, some people, a lot of people were just staring at them, but others had decided to just ignore them and go about their day. Eating, talking, and generally having a good time. It was nice. Meanwhile, a figure in a big coat and hat that covered up their entire body walked up the window of the ice cream shop. Guards who were standing around the ice cream shop noticed the suspicious person and readied their weapons. Snipers took aim at the man, ready to fire if he did anything suspicious. When the figure got to the window, he unbuttoned his trench coat. Sir, what are you doing? Asked one of the soldiers. The figure then opened up the coat, revealing a giant hole in its chest. Suddenly the hole began to suck in everything in front of it, tearing the front of the building apart and sucking it into the hole. Immediately the soldiers opened fire, but the bullets either bounced off or if they did go through, the figures seemed to be unaffected. Ahaha! People screamed as they started being moved towards the hole. Suddenly, the girls flew towards it, faster than anyone else, like they were being pulled by some invisible force. Ah! What's going on? Fuku screamed as she and the girls were sucked into the hole. Shit! Sori shouted as she rushed forward, activating her fractal and diving into the hole. Tokoshi actuated his own fractal, creating a portal in front of him to the hole, and jumping in the hole before it stopped sucking things in. Ack! Damn it! Sai shot 2 swords into the figure's shoulders, making it fall on its back, before more portals appeared over it, and pinned it to the ground. Sai rushed over and looked into the hole on its chest. She brought a sword into her hand, and shoved it into the hole, to see if it would go into wherever the others went, only to find that it didn't. The hole is now just a regular hole. Shit. Sai looked over to the figure's head and removed its hat, revealing it was faceless, looking like some kind of mannequin. What did you do to them? Answers now. The thing remained silent and still, not even moving an inch. He didn't react to the bullets or my swords at all. Anomu. Sai kursid. Damn it. I can't threaten him. I just have to hope that whatever this thing did didn't kill them. Aha! The girls cried as they fell out of a hole in the sky, down towards what looked like a desert, with the bodyguards falling behind them. Fuku passed out mid-fall, her gasp bursting from her body. Thankfully, she was behind the other girls, so they didn't get a whiff of it, but the bodyguards were falling towards it. Tokoshi activated his fractal's power, creating a portal in front of himself and Sori, sending them to the ground without hitting the gas. Meanwhile, Kira took over, using her vectors to grab the girls and bring them all together. Reaper, make yourself useful. Oh, it's you. Sheena said as she realized that she was no longer looking at knees, before remembering that they were approaching the ground very quickly. All right, everyone, hold on. Sheena quickly made several cuts into her own arm. Wings burst out of her back, and Sheena quickly started flapping them as Kira kept them together using her vectors, slowing down their fall enough that when they hit the ground, they did so softly. Ko silently let out a sigh of relief as she fell to her knees on the sand below them. Thank goodness you girls are all right, Tokoshi said as he ran to them with Sori in tow. We're not all right yet, Kira said, gesturing to their surroundings. Where are we? Sheena asked as she looked around, getting her arm ready to start cutting herself if needed. Kira took note of her surroundings. They were in a desert, and it appeared to be daytime. But there was no sun, and the sky was purple. What's more, it didn't seem to be particularly hot, or even really cold. Probably some kind of weird pocket dimension. Kira proposed. Butler, can you get us out of here? Tokoshi activated his fractal once more, attempting to form a portal from here to the real world. I'm afraid not. I'm not really sure how to use this to go to different dimensions. I'm also not sure it could do that to begin with. TCH. Hiraskel. You could call them by their names, you know. Ni said from inside her head. Kira's eyes went wide. How are you awake? I knew you were gonna try and take control the moment we went through the portal. So I braced myself. Ni's explained. That doesn't you know what. Sure. Who cares? Just stay quiet and let me get us through this. Kira ordered as she placed her vector down into the sand. She felt vibrations. Something was moving under the sand. Unfortunately, she wasn't skilled enough to tell what it was. But it was something. Get ready, Kira warned. We're not alone. Sori and Tokoshi prepared themselves for battle, while Sheena cut her arms several times. Not a second later, the ground started to shake, and suddenly, things started to pop out of the sand surrounding them. Nomu. They looked different. Not exposed brains. But there was no mistaking them as human. Monstrous creatures, with no life in their eyes or body movements. And in the back, behind all of them, was a larger, whale-like gnome rose up, with 4 people on its back. Sheena and Nisa's eyes went wide as they saw the 4. One was a large bald man with pale skin, wearing a long gray coat with no shirt, showing off his scared abs, as well as baggy camo-patterned pants and big black boots. Next to him was a woman with long silver hair, wearing a dark blue suit. She looked mostly normal, except for her abnormally long arms and fingers. Then there was another man with black hair, who was wearing no shirt at all, a pair of jeans, and no shoes. Lastly, there was a woman with green skin and orange eyes, wearing a purple dress. She also had a weird antennae coming out of the top of her head. "It seems like you have something that belongs to us," said the long-armed woman, the pairs looking at Kira and Sheena respectively. "The hell? Is that Gammy? The fuck are you wearing all that crap on your face for?" shouted the bald man. It appears Midoriya's given her several bad habits, as expected. The long-armed woman scowled. "Ah, what a joke. At least our Kira still looks like herself." The green woman laughed. "Yeah, back when we saw those videos, we thought she'd lost her mind, but I still see a killer's look in her eye." The shirtless man smirked. "Gonna take a stab in the dark and say you know these guys?" Sori asked. "They're our parents," Sheena and Kira said at the same time, both of them sharing a venom tone. "Oh, our parents?" Mies gasped. "Oh, so I finally get to beat the shit out of those assholes." Sori smirked as she got ready to pounce. "Yes. As a father and grandfather myself, I'm quite eager to bust their heads open like coconuts," Tokoshi said as he cracked his knuckles. Ignoring the 2 bodyguards, the long-armed woman addressed the 2 child assassins. "Children, we're willing to forgive and forget, to an extent, and give you the opportunity to come back to us. Of course, your little friends there will have to die, and you will be punished for your betrayal. But you'll live." Sheena opened her mouth ready to immediately spit out a reply. But whatever she was about to say was held back as Kira gave her answer even faster. "Is that a joke?" Kira hissed as she fixed a harsh glare on her parents, barely held back tears brimming in the corner of her eyes while she clenched her teeth so hard it hurt. "Come back. To you. I trained myself half to death. I killed for you. But no matter what I did, you never showed me an ounce of the love Midoriya showed me, just for existing. And now you want me to throw that away? For you? I'll kill you." What she said. Sheena added, taken aback by the sheer overwhelming hostility coming out of Kira at the moment. So intense that Ko actually backed away from her. "TSK, what a waste." The long-armed woman spat. "Oh well, we can just make another one. Kill them." And with that, the Nomo rushed right at them. Livid. Would not quite describe the degree of anger Izuku was feeling at the moment. Izuku didn't know what word would be adequate to describe the utter fury he felt. But as he stepped onto the scene in front of the ice cream shop, that was far from the first thing on his mind. The whole area had been locked down by the police and Midoriya Foundation personnel, keeping anyone from wandering in. The Nomu was surrounded by Midoriya Foundation heavy soldier units, with Sai standing next to the creature. Izuku walked up to them. "What happened?" "While we were eating ice cream, this Nomu came up the window and activated a quirk, sucking up the children and bringing them inside of the hole in its chest. Notably, only the children were forcibly sucked in, while Tokoshi and Sori had to dive in before its quirk deactivated," Sai explained. All attempts to stop it while it was using its quirk proved futile. After it stopped, it became completely non-responsive. Izuku scowled. Before he got here, He'd been told that something had briefly interfered with the anti-warp signal in this area and opened a portal for a short time. It was likely that Noma had been specifically made to bypass his normal measures against warp quirks and bring the children somewhere else. Where exactly, he didn't know. All he knew was that it was somewhere where his warp sensors couldn't pick up. So either it was in some small pocket of the country where he didn't have warp sensors, outside the country entirely, or to another dimension/pocket dimension. Please tell me what I can do to make up for this failure, sir, Sai asked, a hint of desperation in her voice. Stay on standby. Be ready if I need you. Izuku told her, trying to focus his anger on solving this problem and getting his kids back. Sai tightened her fist. Yes, sir. Tell the men to move this thing to the lab and have it studied, Izuku ordered. We need to know more about what's happening. And once Izuku did know what was happening, someone was going to pay.